feel that way, if you feel that you have depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, that's PTSD, anxiety, eating disorders, alcohol or drug problems, try DBT. It helps regulate the emotions in relation to also relationships. And I never knew that. I never knew that was just what's up? Welcome back to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode 141. I'm not sure if you hear that music in the background, so I'm going to pause it real quick just in case it is there or it is not there. Today we're going to talk about DBT, the new format of kind of what we're doing. Now, I know there's a lot of questions. Why do we change channels, or why did I start over? But if you haven't found out about that stuff, make sure you check out episode 140 because I explain everything inside there. So practically, pretty much, I hired a coach, someone to help me just move forward with this a lot easier, a lot better than normally. And it's pretty much the biggest suggestion. And we kind of knew that, right? Going into this, like in December, we kind of decided that we were going to start a new channel, and we did, and then kind of went back because it just felt safer, right? So it just turns out that the best thing to do is to definitely start over again. And as hard as it is to I guess, emotionally and mentally deal with, I know it's what's best. So if it's like for you, you have anything that have to start over with, starting from the bottom, but really using the knowledge and the skills and lessons that you've learned throughout your life, and now have to just apply it. Sure, it's going to take a while. It's going to be tough, but that's anything else that you want to find some type of really high standard value in it, right? Because I can keep doing the other one, that's fine, but it's only going to reach that certain amount. And that's not what I'm looking for. But we all know the goal here is to reach as many people as we can so they understand the difference. And I want to shout out a gentleman named, or maybe I don't know if it's a gentleman or not, name's Andy, right? And he has been watching the channel more recently and just found it. And it seems that he's finding a lot of value from it because it's not something that everyone talks about every day. Right. And if they do, it's usually like a doctor or a therapist or someone that's really off the wall crazy. Right. I'm not saying that's bad, but you know what I mean. You understand the videos of that versus like what you're going to get from here. And today I want to talk about DBT because it's the main skill that I've used. Now, everyone's going to ask, right, what's the difference between CBT and DBT? You know what it is? I don't fucking know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm a therapist because I'm not. What the doctor prescribed me was DBT, Dialectic Behavioral Therapy. Why? Because it mainly helps regulate emotions and or relationships, right? So it's skills that you're going to learn to really harness your emotions when they do get hectic, or they do get depressed, or they do get anxious, or they do get angry and overwhelmed. Right? How do you live life knowing that these things are going to attack you at some point, right? They're going to try to take over your life. So how do we, as a human being, right, not robots, a human being, find out and figure out how to become better, and to how to ease those emotions and try to really connect them with ourselves and really find ourselves through that type of therapy, right? So that's the main thing that I've been using since I did end up in the hospital, and that's what they used there, and then continued it in rehab for God knows how long, and I still use it till today. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of those suggestions, or just really explain how it has helped me, and the main ones that have helped me throughout my life, continuing to the present day. But we're going to move into a thing where I go in and I talk about a little bit more of normal, or not normal, current posts that I see on social media. And like when you go through social and you always screenshot something, or I don't know if you do it, or you put it in the save tab and it's like, save it for later because this really hit home and I'm gonna make sure I do what it says. But then you never do because you take 7,000 pictures of your dogs or your daughter and son running around at a baseball game, and then the sunset, and then the picture that you screenshotted no longer shows up anywhere except for your trash can. So I have a couple that I definitely have saved through throughout here, and I'll post it up. And what I really want from you is like, how do you agree from this? Right? Do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? That's the main thing here is, do you agree or disagree? When we have our guests on the podcast, I'm going to make them play the game too, and or if not, share some of the things that they have in their phone that they saved. Right. I save it. I also save like jujitsu and wrestling stuff, which I never end up doing, but I got a fucking folder full of them. And, it's just one of those things that I do. So this one's called My Friendship Circle Through My Life. And as a teenager, it shows many. At my 20s, it shows half of that. In my 40s, there's 4 people. And then presently, it's a picture of a dog, and it's very, very true to the fact that you do lose those relationships as you get older. It's not that you lose them, you grow apart, right? You distance yourself. You find yourself with a different value system or a different lifestyle or different goals. And now you guys used to have so much in common back then, especially when you're 20. What goals did you have? Like, I'm gonna fucking rule the world and drink as much as I can and wake up the next day. Like, it's kind of I'm gonna go to Limelight, go to the city, and then deliver pizza the next day. It wasn't really ambitious, right? You just have to find a job so your parents would upset at you, and then after that, you kind of figure out who you are. But you still had a lot of friends or different groups of friends, and then when you get into your 40s, it's like, who says that? I said Nate Bargatze. Nate Bargatze is a stand-up comic. He's blowing up right now, if not has been blowing up, and he has a bit on talking about like growing up and how like in his 20s he would do anything in the world. Like, you tell him, he'd do it. And then in his 30s, he was like, how far is this place? I don't want to be there. I'll drive myself. And then when you're 40s, just like, fuck this, I'm not doing it no more. So it's pretty interesting. And now I like the picture of the dog. So that's one of the things that I definitely had saved in my phone. How do you feel about it? Comment. Have you lost friends? Like, did you give up on everybody? Because I know I have. I go, fuck everyone. Honestly, I don't give a shit no more. Like, I don't give a fuck right now. So it's better that way for me, honestly. This one was, what's this one? This one's from an account called Fight Through Mental Health. I think this is a good one. Not a funny one, just something I kind of want to save. Is my brother died from depression. He also frequently exercised, and supportive family and friends was what? Okay. First off, we'll put it up, but she types like I talk. My brother died from depression. That wasn't funny. I'm sorry. My brother died from depression. He also frequently exercised. He had supportive friends and family. He was successful in school and in his work. He had goals and he was constantly reaching, and he still killed himself. People who are depressed are not weak-minded. They are sick. Understand this. And this is coming from a girl that lost her brother. And it's very true. Right? So if you want to know, let me know. Do you believe it's real or do you believe it's fake? Do you believe that people are just depressed because they don't know what they're doing? Or are they depressed because actually they're mentally sick? Like, there's something wrong in their brain. There's a chemical imbalance in their brain, because it seems like he was someone that had his shit on straight. And I feel like we always do that. We always find people, we always try to find a reason why they did it. Right? But we never asked, we never thought about, we never even talked to the people that look like they do have their shit straight. When most of those people don't have their fucking shit straight at all. Most people that have their shit straight don't have their shit straight. Right? They're the ones that have the most pressure because they have this image they want to uphold. They have this perfection that they want to keep. I'm not saying all, I'm saying most. Out of my experience, a lot of people that dress really well and just have this proper attitude about everything are fucking nutcases. Right? They're worse than I am. At least I'm open about it. And that's a perfect example. Because just because someone acts nice or acts right, and this doesn't mean they're not hurting at some point. It doesn't mean they don't suffer because they don't show it. And that might have been the issue, is that maybe her brother had such a standard of making sure that he didn't show weakness or he didn't let anyone know, that it finally got to him because he had no one to talk to. He didn't feel safe in his space, and he just didn't fucking want to tell anybody, honestly, probably. So I believe that is true. this picture. I believe it's something that everyone needs to think about, especially with someone in their own family. Right. Number three is pretty much what reflects to that. This one was during Mental Health Month, which is in October. Remember to check in on people who have been quiet lately, never ask for help, always seem happy, come across as strong, seem to have it all figured out, are going through life transitions, are always there for everyone else, say they're fine, or you haven't heard from recently. These are the people that you have to check on, right? And those are telltale. Is that the word? Telltale signs that someone's going through some shit. I always say, like, whenever I see someone post a picture consistently of them and their spouse over and over and over again, they've got some shit going on in the house. They are trying to deflect what's really happening inside their household because they want this image of them in love. Or that's like kind of, it's almost like their vision board, right? People, they're wrestling, they want to be a state champion. They're going to take pictures of Olympians and put them on their Instagram. They're going to put it on their TikTok. They're going to put it on their wall. That's what couples do when they're having some fucked up shit in their life. But even my wife says it. It's like whenever someone puts up, okay, it's fine. It's your anniversary. Happy 5-year anniversary. We made it. Awesome. Thumbs up. But when it's consistent, look deeper into your relationship. Are you guys really happy? Is there something really, really so much that you have to post you guys over and over and over again from pictures about 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday? It's something you got to look at, and you got to check on those people. And it's the ones that actually disappear. When I always used to disappear from Instagram and take my social media breaks, is because I was fucked up. I just didn't want to do anything anymore. I didn't want anyone to know anything about me. When I'm here, even I'm just posting a little bit more recently on Instagram because I didn't want anyone to know what the fuck I was doing, honestly. I didn't want them to know where I was or the things we were doing and showcase this and showcase that. There's no need. I didn't want it to be present, right? At the same time, I just wasn't right in the mind to share it with you, to share it with them. And if I was sharing, I was only sharing here because this is real, right? This is where I can talk. This is where I can talk to the people that actually give a shit about what it is I'm going to say. Because on Instagram, no one gives a fuck. I mean, they do. I'm not going to lie. People are very nice. They're still my friends. But to get deep like this on there, I'd probably lose half of the followers that I have now. So from being like 10,000, I'll be like 5,000 or some shit like that. Or I don't even know how many I have, so it doesn't even matter. But yeah, you got to check on those people. Check on the ones that are quiet. Check on the ones that help people a lot. The ones that give, right? But don't take anything in return. That don't give themselves their own time. That want to spend hours and hours at work just trying to spend time there and deflect the fact that they're hurting. Those are the ones you want to check on. And if you got a friend, a family member, and anything, just give a what's up. You don't got to get into it. Sometimes just saying what's up just helps. And honestly, some of them might not even respond. And I want you to know that. And that's where you can't get mad. Because people do. People get fucking so mad that we don't respond. But it's like, I just don't want to. And you don't understand the anxiety that I have to press reply. And I am very grateful for the texts and the messages that people do and send. But sometimes we know you care. We know, and so that helps. A lot of times people are very unwilling to reply back or respond back. And you can't put that against them. They just don't want to. Or honestly, I just don't want to. I've got 1,000 New Year's, Happy New Year's from my best friends. I didn't put shit down because I didn't want to start conversation. I just don't feel like it right now. But, thank you for that. Even more so if it's something like, hey, how are you doing? And it's a little bit more heartfelt, then yeah, you probably have a high percentage chance. Like a happy birthday on my birthday doesn't feel like a happy birthday. Happy birthday, balloons, whatever that thing is. Happy birthday. Okay, cool. Thanks. I do it too. Happy birthday. It's generic, right? It's generic. It's just like saying, how's the weather outside? It's one of those fucking things. Can't believe there's traffic. It's a cliche at the same time. Just fucking call. Leave me a voice message. That's like, hey man, happy birthday. Just want to say what's up. All right, cool. That was nice. I'll save it. Versus like a happy birthday. Like I have a million messages on Instagram still since and birthdays, Christmases, and my dad passed. I haven't got to him. Like it's too far in the message archives. Let's talk about DBT. So we're gonna talk about DBT's dialectic behavioral therapy and what I use it for. There's 4 different, I want to say modules. It's like distress tolerance, emotional regulation. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist either, but I'm just telling you what they. Let's see. Let's open this up real quick. That's not it. Me. I gotta go all the way to the beginning of this. It's a big pamphlet. This is kind of what we do every single day. I'm not going to read what is dialectic behavioral therapy. It's a treatment designed specifically for individuals with self-harm behaviors such as cutting, suicidal thoughts, urges to suicide, and suicide attempts. Many clients with these behaviors meet criteria for a disorder called BBT, or borderline personality disorder. It's not unusual for individuals diagnosed with BPD to also struggle with other problems such as depression, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic distress syndrome, anxiety, eating disorders, alcohol or drug problems. DBT is a modification of CBT. Interesting. That's about a person that made it up. Don't care. How does it help me? Bump, 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 bump. The key assumption in DBT is that self-destructive behaviors are learned coping techniques for unbearably intense or negative emotions. Negative emotions like shame, guilt, sadness, fear, anger are a normal part of life. However, it seems that some people are particularly inclined to have a very intense and frequent negative emotions. Sometimes the human brain is simply hardwired to experience stronger emotions, just like an expensive stereo is hardwired to produce very complex sounds. Woza! So you kind of get it? People that are just like me, if you want to go down that list, I'm fucking had all of them. I'm definitely running through most of them. And if you feel that way, if you feel that you have depression, bipolar disorder, post traumatic stress disorder, that's PTSD, anxiety, eating disorders, alcohol or drug problems, try DBT. It helps regulate the emotions in relation to also relationships. And I never knew that. I never knew that that was just a piece. I knew that DBT was developed through CBT, but I don't understand what CBT is either, and I don't want to talk about that too much today. But I definitely want to talk about the things that I do in particularly to move through my day or my life. And the one I will always say I move to is tip, and that really I tell everyone this all the time. Tip is temperature, increase, exercise, tip self shoot. Let's go to page 49 because I cannot. I'll figure it out from there. I don't want to. I don't know. Damn it. Get a henna tattoo. What the fuck is wrong with you? Boop, 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 tip. So I'll share this with you guys. It's a distress tolerance skill, not to solve the problem. It's important to use this skill. Other ones intensity more manageable at some point. So pretty much it uses this exercise to calm myself down. My main emotion besides depression and sadness is anger. And anger for me can stir in a fucking second. In a second. I can explode. I can turn on people. I can completely change my attitude and alter the way I think to believe that it's real. I don't know why, right? There's a lot of things in my mind that I can like put myself in a scenario and my whole body will react as if I am inside that scenario, but it's that hard. So like if I imagine killing somebody, I can honestly see myself doing it 100,000%. and I can feel it, and I feel the way I feel and the emotions behind it. So it's pretty scary. That's why I like to really utilize tip. And tip, if you see, it's like a thermometer, right? So in the stress tolerance, they kind of, you rate your I guess emotions or feelings. I forget. And 0 is the calmest person in the world, very zen, very cool. And then 100 is you're going to flip everybody over, right? So you want to catch yourself all the time and try to bring down that distress, bring down the anxiety, bring down the anger. It's not going to cure it, but you want to bring it down to where you can function in society again, where you can function inside your own household with your family and not just blow up on them and hurt them and yell at them, right? You got to catch yourself and you have to change your temperature. So, T, the first part is temperature. You can put your face in water. I like to go in the shower, sometimes jump in a fucking pool. I'll put water on myself, then run out into the snow, whatever it takes. But if you're like a simple one that you can do, if you're like at a party and like you just feel yourself losing it or feel yourself super anxious, take a cold bottle of water or some ice and just rub it on your wrist. Just lay it there for like 30 seconds to a minute. Another place I like to put like ice and cold stuff on is my ears. So when I get like hot headed, I literally like I feel like a cartoon. When I get angry, like my ears get really red, like fucking a train. I'll take the cans of soda, beer, whatever's there, and just kind of put it on my ears and just rub and let it breathe. If I want to be discreet about it, I'll put it on my wrist, but I'm not usually pretty discreet. Usually I'll just take my head and put it inside the pool, or go to the bathroom and wash my face. And I really want to change the temperature from hot to cold, right? So this triggers the dive reflex. Your heart slows down, blood flow in the non-essential organs decrease, and blood flow to your brain and hearts increase. So that's why you want to cool it down. Then after that, you'll do some intense exercise. You can wear yourself out with intense physical activity, run until you can't anymore, do push-ups, climb the stairs, walk, dance, anything that'll make you tired. A lot of times I like to like beat the pillows up. So I'll go upstairs and like just box, or I'll go down here, I have a heavy bag, or I have Bad Bunny over there in the corner. You might see his arms are right there, and I'll beat the shit out of him until I like can't move anymore. Right. So I use what you can. And everyone's exercise is different. We talk about that. Everyone has their own different endurance rate, right? Everyone is endured differently. It might take someone 30 jumping jacks and they're fucking smashed. Right. For me, I need a lot more than that. I gotta do like 100 burpees, smash my head into the wall, run 10 miles, go swimming, and then fuck up Bad Bunny. And then maybe I'll be tired. Like that's how much more I have to do for intense exercise to feel calmer. Uh, P, progressive muscle relaxation. This is something that I do to go to sleep too. So if you want to know what this is kind of like just tensing and then releasing. So tensing and then releasing. And I do that when I go to sleep, when I have trouble going to sleep, and or if I'm about to go on stage, I'll do a lot of progressive muscle relaxation because you're tense. So it's almost like it's not, is it like PNF stretching? I'm not sure. But like I'll start from my toes and like squeeze my toes, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, then relax. Then I'll tighten up my calves and then relax. Then my quads, and then my balls, my butt, then my abs, all the way up to my chest and all the way to my neck and my jaw, my mouth, and then I chill out. Right. And that's progressive muscle relaxation. Let's see what this says here. Start with your toes, work your way up each muscle group, tensing each muscle for 5 seconds, and then relaxing them for 10 seconds. So it's 5 seconds of pressure, squeezing, 10 seconds of relaxation, and then move on to the next body part until you actually feel calm. And the relaxed muscles can help calm your brain. And then the last thing is paced breathing. So tip is TIPP. Again, temperature, increased exercise, progressive muscle relaxation, and then paced breathing. Paced breathing, breathe in for count 4 to 6 seconds, holding it for. So we call it like box breathing, right? You'll go, hold it, exhale, hold it, inhale, hold it, exhale, hold it, and continue that until you completely relax. And hopefully this helps you in any way. And I would even say you need you have to be bipolar. I mean, obviously, this channel's for being bipolar, for anyone that's bipolar or anxious, has depression, any type of mental illness or mental health help. Tip is great. Tip is I would say the best one for me because I am an active person and I do need that. Um, I do need that skill in my life, like a lot, you know. So let's go back to the second one I want to do because it's definitely self soothe, but it's a little different than self soothe. I want to not do that. There's all distress tolerances. So, no, here we go. So, this one is something that you write with, and I use this not too much. I use it very sparingly, but there's a lot of times where your mind takes over, and what they will call wise mind versus emotional mind. Right? Wise mind is part our mind, where emotional mind are thought based and distress feelings, and reasonable mind is rational thoughts that merge together. So, wise mind helps us make sense of our thoughts and feelings and come up with balanced and wise response so that the need for both emotional mind and reasonable mind, what I should do, how can I explain this without having to like read this shit over and over and over again? So it's quite asking yourself, like, is it real? Pretty much, right? The wise mind, like, would this really happen? So when you're having like an emotional mind where things are based on distressed feelings, like I can't believe this, you got to ask yourself, like, what went through my mind? What disturbed me? What is it that's making me feel this way? What am I reacting to? What's the worst thing about that? What's the worst thing that can happen? What do I want to do? What do I want to happen? What am I feeling? So whenever you've had these feelings of like, I want to say like based on distress and feeling, so it's just like an emotion, like I can't believe did this, someone's doing this to me. Nah. Is it real? Like, is it real, or is it just like you creating the situation in order to make it worse? And I'm 100% honest to God, guilty of doing all of that. You know, where I have this emotion and I feel this way, so I kind of just blow it up out of proportion more than it ever needs to be, and I kind of lose myself in it. You know, so reasonable mind, or what is this called? Reasonable mind. I haven't done it in a long time. Based on factual evidence, what would be more reasonable? What am I thinking I should do? What advice would I give to a friend, or would a caring friend say to me? Is it really as important as it seems? What evidence is there about what I think is likely to happen? I felt this way before and I've gotten through it. So, reasonable mind, really making things reasonable. Like, is this true? Did this really happen? At the same time, putting yourself out of your own mind and someone else's, I guess, someone else's shoes, right? How do they think I am reacting right now? How do they think I'm acting right now? Is this true or is it false? So it's a good way to think about it. And then wise mind is stop, take a breath. What does wise mind make of this? What's the bigger picture? What will the consequence be of my reaction? What's going to be the best response to this situation for me, for others, for the situation? What will be the most helpful and effective? So it's really figuring out and understanding what's going to happen now and putting into retrospect of like, if I do this, this is the consequence. If this happens, this is going to happen. This is so really getting and writing down all of those. Not only does it give you time to like just relax and chill out and really put your emotions onto paper and understand what it is you're truly feeling and why. And honestly, the best question to ask yourself is, what's the worst that's going to happen? You know, a lot of times we exaggerate the things that we really don't need to and really do blow out of proportion the smallest little things. And again, trust me, I've been there. I do it a lot. And that's when I do go to this one, not in this structure. I'm just kind of showing you, like, so you can see and understand everyone's different and everyone's going to take these skills in a different manner. But as long as it's producing the same result, which is helping you out and making sure that you can fucking survive in this world without feeling so bad about yourself and about life and about the things that you do or don't do, no, it's going to help. As long as you feel a little bit better, that's the goal of doing all this stuff. It's not here, like I said before, it's not here to solve our problems. Our problems are going to be long lived. It's how do we manage these problems so we can be fucking human beings and live in society day to day without having the need to feel like we don't belong or have the need to feel like we're outcasts or crazy or weird, because you're not. You're a fucking human being. You just got some fucking wires fucked up, and that's not your fault. You have had experience. I'm sure a lot of you guys have experiences in your life that you just didn't know how to react to or didn't know you were part of. A lot of your stuff is from your childhood, and you had no idea that was wrong. You had no idea that would do this to you now. None of us did. But the worst thing we could do is not talk about it and not bring out to fruition. Wow, that's a big word. Of what exactly is happening. But even more so, just being excited about what can come. You know, and a lot of us think we're stuck and we're by ourselves and this is the end and we'll never get through it. But I want you to know, like personally, I want you to know that you will. You just got to do the work. You got to get up and move. You got to be mobile. You got to be resilient. You got to understand that you're not stuck. You're not. God, and I know it feels like at times you are. But we got to find to get unstuck and mobilize our brain and mobilize our body. You know, we always say that movement helps mobility. Movement will help your brain move. If we're stuck in a chair, sit on the couch, or lay down in bed all day long, I understand it's where you want to be right now. But a little bit of you has to at least try to get up. You got to try to do something different. You got to try to get unstuck. Because when you're stuck in bed, under the covers, doing nothing about a situation that you actually have no control over, it's not your fault. Then you're just going to be stuck there. On the bed, on the couch, sitting there. So if you're at that point and maybe you're listening to this, I'll tell you right now, the one thing you can do is just stand up, do your best to stand up and walk back and forth in your room. You don't even have to leave. Walk back and forth in your room and just breathe. If you want to go outside and take a walk. You want to go down the stairs, go outside and take a walk. Because the more you move, the more you're going to get unstuck. And that's one thing I know from experience that has worked the most. Man, I really like this new format. I want to thank you guys all for coming out today to the Mental Mobility Podcast, episode number 141. If you are listening, make sure you put on a nice review, 5 stars if you think so. Share it with a friend, like it, comment, do whatever you want to do, but make sure you do something and not just ignore everything I just said, because that would suck these nuts. All right, hopefully the music is playing. I put it out. I don't hear it. Will you tell me if you hear it? Hear it? I don't know if you hear it, but I do. And I want to thank you guys for coming out. We'll see you next time on the Mental Mobility Podcast. Thank you again.